Can you guys hear me okay? So I am Kiran Brahmandam. I am the founder and CEO of the company Gaming Analytics. I've been in the industry for about 20 years. I never thought I'd stay here for so long. But what I want to share with you today is our journey as to how we started as a small company with a vision of having casinos embrace AI and do their business totally differently. So I'm going to share my stories, my journey, our success stories, and also some of the barriers that we have seen and some of the lessons that you as executives can take away from our experiences with about 100 customers that we have. Before we go, I just want to see, where do you guys fall in this AI spectrum? Who is a skeptic, 100% human? Right? They don't believe in AI. Anybody? That's one. Okay. Who is an academic? Yeah, read a lot of news on social media. Anybody? There you go. And then who's dabbling with AI? Right? So, pretty cool. And then who is the explorer? There you go. That's quite a few. And then cyborg. Somebody says, oh, there you go. There's two. That's pretty cool. So I just wanted to get a sense of where the audience is. Okay. So gaming analytics started in 2017 with a very simple idea. It is, can a business user simply type a question and get an answer? Right? So in your personal life, you always use Google to get information. In your business life, you're dealing with complex systems. So we started with an idea of, can I make it as simple as a Google for a business user? And can I also create a piece of software that can predict the future, and not just predicting it, also making it happen, leveraging natural language processing, AI and machine learning. So that was the inception, and that's what made me leave a pretty cushy job I had. I used to run a large R&D team for a big systems company, building a lot of many innovative products. Now, and the whole idea was, can a casino become an AI-centric organization where humans define goals and software executes it? So imagine a world where you are the GM, you are the marketing person, you are the CFO, and you say, can I get an extra 3% coin in on a Tuesday? And there's a piece of software that magically executes everything for you. And then you, as an end user, look at the plan that the software provides and think of it like recipes, that you could tweak those recipes, make it your own, and then see the results and continuously use technology to tweak the recipes. So this is our end vision. This is where we think the casino industry need to go. And what I'm going to share with you is the series of steps and the components and the use cases that we have built that gets us to this particular end goal, which is why I started this company. Okay? Now, and also what happens in an AI-centric organization is using automation, hyper-personalization, and real-time. Right? And by the way, this is what happens in your personal lives. Right? So for example, whether you shop on Google and so on and so forth. Pradeep covered a lot about AI, what it is and so on and so forth. But what I want to tell you is my perspective or what we have seen where businesses can make money. Okay? When you think about AI, Terminator and all these fancy sci-fi movies come into picture. Right? They're going to take over the world and kill us. But where businesses are making money is on the left side. So think about any activity humans were doing. Now computers are able to do it at scale. Right? That's what the Googles, the Facebooks, the Netflix, and so on and so forth are doing. So that is where companies have made money. And when I refer to AI in the rest of the speech, that's what I mean. Okay? Now, we live in the age of AI, we all know that. Let me share with you a recent shopping experience. Okay? I went to Google and I wanted to buy a booth for G2E. Okay? I started typing questions, saying I want a booth, and then immediately ads started following me. I mean, you notice that, right? You just go type a sofa set and then ads start following you everywhere. No matter what site I went to. And then when I went to Yahoo Finance, if Kiran is looking for a booth, he also may need some monitors. And then in about 15 minutes, I made a $5,000 purchase online. Right? That's my booth, 1416, if you want to come and see it. Now, it was so easy. Imagine making a $5,000 sale just like that. Why? Because software is predicting exactly what you want. That's one example. Think about Amazon. I mean, you know this all. I mean, these are not the examples that you don't know. Every time you go to buy an item in Amazon, you end up buying a little bit more. And when you place an order, now you actually get same day shipping. Not only that, 1 hour shipping. How? Because there are robots in their warehouse moving items out and improving the logistics. The point being here is, if you look at these three examples, what's common? Connected data, data across multiple sites is connected, personalization at scale, tremendously increasing productivity using algorithms, sensors, GPU, and computer vision. There's no humans doing the magic behind the scenes. Humans defining boundaries and software doing it. This I call as AI-centric organizations, where humans define goals and software executes it. Right? This is the paradigm that we live in our personal life. Now, come back and then look at what happens in our industry. Right? I get an offer in November based on my play between June to August. Right? There is no concept of personalization. You want a piece of information, just simply who plays my Dragon Links. You probably have to wait a few days. Right? So everything is extremely slow and manual in our industry. What that means is we do have a significant opportunity to become much, much, much better as an industry and also as an organization. Okay? I'm just not going to cover this because Pradeep talked about it. But one of the things that you should be aware of is industry is going through a significant change where you have more data than ever before. You got social, online, sports betting, hiring is a challenge, omni-channel customers, more options for the customers. You always think, you're competing for the customer's wallet. No, you're actually competing for the customer's time. I get up every day thinking I'm going to exercise and I spend an hour scrolling through YouTube shorts. Right? That's why I'm 50 pounds, overweight. But the point is, Player 360 is also more relevant because there's no way you can actually do all of these things pretty manually. Okay? So with that in mind, like I said, your competition is not just casinos. It's all these other companies that are heavily investing in AI. Okay? And AI impacts every department in a casino. So when you think about this technology, don't think about this as slots, marketing, PD. It's every single department in your casino. And I'm going to share with you some of the examples from our early adopters. Okay? So for example, what we have done with our technology, we're able to provide easy access to all employees. Think of it like Google for gaming data. And by the way, all these are use cases that have been deployed for multiple years. Right? So this is not something in the future. This is something that already has been done. Right? Revenue forecasting, able to predict how much money you're going to make every single day for the next 365 days. It's actually doing better than the CFOs. Slot recommendations. Well, if you want to replace your bottom 10-20% games, guys, you don't need any software. Right? That's not where the juice is. The juice is how do you take good games and make them great? By analyzing the machines across multiple dimensions. And efficiencies and redesigning your floor based on understanding how games are similar to each other and also understanding their volatility. Anybody from slots here? There's only one. Okay, 2, 3. I'm going to give you an example in a few minutes. Okay? Now, it also has improved player retention, marketing, offer optimization, player development teams. We have seen examples of PD teams' efficiency has gone up by 18 to 23%. Right? Anomaly detection, fraud, Title 31, and more importantly, time savings and breaking down silos. All using the data that you already collect. Right? So it's the same source of data that multiple teams actually leverage, and you put the technology in and make the whole organization extremely efficient. So these are some of the examples of our early adopters that actually have seen value. Now I'm going to give you a few more insights. Okay? And by the way, as part of our journey, we built the search engine in 2018. Now you guys all see ChatGPT and all of that. But our search engine, we built it in-house in 2018. We also built our churn models in 2018, 2019. But it took us about 3 years to get wide adoption. Why? Because when you go talk to the customers, they said they have a bunch of jobs that they have to do, which is providing a bunch of reports to their management team that was sucking up all their time. And when you do not have time, what happens to all the strategic initiatives and all the new innovation you want to do? It takes a hit. And what we have seen with our product, with our search-driven interfaces, we have created time savings of 16 to 23%. So if you are an employee, or if you get a day back every week at your work, what would you do with that extra time? And once we created time for the users, then they started thinking more about AI and the adoption skyrocketed. Right? And by the way, what used to take hours and days, now just take a few seconds. Let me show you a video. Can you click that video, please? Yeah, if you can see, I can see who are my top players. Is that what it is showing? Just type a question, just gets you an answer, right? And by the way, that's actually a video of a live production system, okay? How much did I make this month versus last month, 2 months ago? And then just keep adding questions and data points about your data, and you just get that information in just a couple of seconds, right? And any of the slot guys, any of the marketing folks, you would appreciate how much time it takes to actually get that basic information. And what happens when you are in these meetings? You have a question, you don't have an answer, you go back to IT or somebody else who's going to write a bunch of SQL. When the answer comes in, it's too late. That is how you end up in meetings and meetings and meetings. So now in a meeting, you get all the information that you need, make the quick decisions, and move on. Okay? So that's one example. The second one, if you can just click, is it this button? Yeah. So a lot of decisions are made on the slots without truly understanding who plays those games. What if you could just simply type, who plays 88 Fortunes? Who plays Dragon Links? And then you get the answer. Can you guys help me there? Just click I think I'm hitting a pause button here. Clicker is not working. I guess it went, shucks, there goes the, yeah, can you click it now for me, please? Okay, leave it. So it's basically you type a question, you get the answer, you get the list of players, you push a button, and then you all immediately know what other games they're playing, right? So this search interface, gives you access to that information, which creates significant amount of time, okay? And then what it does is, like I said, what takes hours takes seconds. So if you take an example of a typical vaccine, takes about 16 years to actually produce. There's a company called Moderna who's got this whole AI factory set up. They were able to actually find the solution in about 4 hours. And the other 14 months and 30 days and 20 hours was going through the process, and you got a vaccine in 15 months. Right? So that's what technology allows. It creates time, which creates more opportunities. And then I talked about revenue forecasting. Right? So that's 3 examples from 3 different casinos. We are able to predict how much money you're going to make, anywhere from like 0.19% to about 5% variances. That's incredible. Right? And same thing on slot purchasing decisions, 67% of the floors have a volatility imbalance. So if you come from slots, there is always a risk associated with playing a game that is called volatility. And players also have a risk profile. Some players want to play games that are high risk, high reward, and some players just want to play games that give them a lot of time on device. But if you are a casino operator, you actually don't know the volatility of these games because there are no standards in this industry. So what we found out is there's an imbalance, meaning what players want versus what you have on the floor is actually out of whack. Software is able to figure that out. And then what we have done is there's actually a casino in Reno, GSR, and they're actually here. They have used this technology where our software figures out the volatility and how similar games are. They look at their non-smoking zone, which actually never made house average in their entire history, completely reconfigured the section, and it's actually doing 1.03 times the house average. So that was the opportunity. It was there, but was never captured. Right? So we're able to do that with our tech. And then how we do it, if anybody wants to know what's going on behind the scenes, we've got a pretty cool technology called graph databases where data is connected just like that. And we traverse through this network of data and dynamically figure out how data is connected. And when you ask a question, we generate the answers on the fly. There's no static queries behind the scenes. Right? It's a pretty cool tech that's used by companies like Facebook and Netflix and so on. If you're interested, just come and talk to me after the show. And then it takes all of that work, that complexity away from you. At the end of the day, what are you doing as a slot director? What machines to buy, what machines to replace, right? What machines to swap. Software gives you these recommendations. And then what it has done is it also has an unintended impact where slot techs have become much more efficient. Instead of making a lot of moves, they're actually able to focus more on customer service and predictive maintenance because software is able to pinpoint the exact changes that they're supposed to make. Fraud prevention. Pradeep talked about, the potential for AI. This actually happened in one of the casinos in Las Vegas. There were 30 players that were abusing the free play because there was some bug in a game. Nobody caught it. They deployed the software, it immediately caught it, right? So and this got me thinking, right? Why does this happen? Why does software find new opportunities? And one of the things I came to a realization is, the good thing about our industry is you make money. Casinos make money. The bad thing is casinos make money. So when you make money, it's very, very difficult to change, right? But with the economic times changing, now hopefully you can see that there's an opportunity to squeeze more juice out. And then I'll get into a bunch of things about marketing. So I'll give you a few examples. About 53% of the players are actually misclassified as active. Typically, a casino says a player is active if they come to the casino once every 90 days or 120 days. What if I come every single day and I stop coming for a couple of days, couple of weeks? So they're not catching it. So majority of the players are actually misclassified, impacting profits. And these are 3 screenshots. Small to slightly larger customer. You go to the other end, that customer thought they had about 60,000 active players. They only had 27,000 active players when you actually apply machine learning algorithms. So there's much more money that's left on the table. Okay? Same thing, if you look at hosts are managing the top 20% of your players, giving you 80% of the revenue. But the way they manage their players is extremely manual. There is a host manager giving a list of players to call every single day using Excel and so on and so forth. Right? We put a software in, software automatically determines who to call, when to call, what to say, effectively prioritizes the work of a host. So they're not doing anything different, by the way, they're just making their phone calls. Who to call, when to call is determined by software. And one of the key things we have learned is we cannot embed technology for the sake of technology. You have to understand how a person does their job and inject technology where it makes sense, right? And not completely disrupt how they're doing their jobs. So anyway, and there's churn in marketing where, instead of doing segmentation by ADTs or ADWs, you do persona-based marketing. And then we have seen customers see extremely, good results. For example, based on persona-based marketing, 10.9% increase in carded TO. And also by using AI to optimize the segments, we were able to reduce marketing expenses, increase profitability, and so on and so forth. This is a customer in Washington. So all these are just not me saying it. There are good case studies on the website that you can go check it out, right? And there's more. Okay, so we will skip that for now. Okay? Now that said, when there are so many success stories happening, how come there's still a little bit hesitancy to embrace this tech, right? So you need 3 things to leverage this technology. You need data, which you have. You need talent you can hire, or hire vendors like us. But the most important thing is the mindset. Okay? Are you willing to change the way how you want to look at your business? And in that, I'm just going to give you an example. Let's go back to a little bit in the world of art. Okay? You guys know Rembrandt? And this is an example I use always, and I think it's very relevant. He was one of the first to portray human emotions in a very convincing way. Okay? So this is one of his paintings. Okay? So what happened is that the folks at Microsoft decided, can I analyze all the Rembrandt paintings, and then can we have AI generate the next painting? Okay? So they fed this to a bunch of software. I think it happened in Holland. And then software started analyzing all the Rembrandt paintings. And then it started looking at, the character, the demographics, which direction they are looking, what is the eye position. And then it figured out a typical Rembrandt is a portrait Caucasian male with facial hair, 30 to 40 years old, dark clothing with a collar, wearing a hat, facing to the right. And it took them 6 months to do this. Okay? And then they 3D printed the next Rembrandt. Okay? And that's how it was. Okay? And then they invited some of the Rembrandt experts and then asked them to actually review it. And then everybody said, oh, that's a Rembrandt, but I've never seen it before. And then the engineer said, well, it was actually generated by AI on a canvas. And the reaction was astonishing. Half the world said, AI just 3D printed a brand new Rembrandt and it's shockingly good. The other half said, the digital Rembrandt, a new way to mock art made by fools. So what does that mean? When you want to bring in change in your organization, some people are going to say, how come we waited so long? And some people are going to say, why the heck do we need to change? And you as leaders, you actually have to fight this conflict. Right? And how do you manage this? And by the way, what took 6 months? You go to Midjourney or ChatGPT, you get it in 45 seconds now. So the evolution of tech that Pradeep was talking about, how fast it is evolving. And you guys may say, where is my Rembrandt casino player with a hat? That's what it is. Took us another 30 seconds. Right? So, and then the second problem is data silos. Right? This is how a typical casino org structure is in terms of its data. It's all over the place. And what happens is, when you're able to unlock the silos by giving them easy access to information, you actually get, you unlock new potential that you have not realized it exists. So for example, we have a casino operator, a table games director is using our product, and we are wondering, we have slots, marketing, player development, finance, why is a table games manager actually using the product? When I called him, he said, Kiran, you guys connect slot data and the hotel data, and from that I know all the players that are checking into the casino, and your software says all their preferred games and the minimum bets that they like. So I redo my high limit area every Thursday using your tool. That was not a use case that we had in mind. Right? But when you give access to information, people come up with new ideas. Right? And that is what I find it very, very fascinating. And then for all of these things, executive buy-in is very, very, very critical to success. Meaning, AI is an initiative. I feel it is more top-down rather than a bottom-up initiative. And when I talk about the future of AI, or future of the casinos, we went through these examples. Right? But what is also going to happen is automation using AI agents. Right? If I can get this video to play this time. Yeah, Pradeep was talking about, you can just type a question and then have a campaign created. You actually have it. You could go and say, create a VIP event and invite the top 100 players on December 15th or whatever, and the software actually goes, figures out who the players are, creates the campaign, creates the task, assigns it to hosts so they can start actually making calls to invite players. Right? So imagine the level of productivity that you can achieve in an organization. And then using hyper-personalization in real time. Okay? So all of this means is, when you're in your boardrooms, I'm pretty sure everybody's asking the question, what's your AI strategy? What's your security strategy? Do you have an answer for it? If not, you should start thinking about it. And then what should casino execs do? You could do AI as a bolt-on. I'm just going to dabble with a few projects so that I can tell my board that I'm actually working with AI. Or I'll go to a bunch of vendors at the show and just tell them that, hey, I'm looking at AI solutions. That's one option. Right? The other option is this an opportunity to rethink? Right? Can I do business differently? And what is transformation? Keeping your mission core values the same, but changing the processes. And processes are, how do you measure success? How do you manage teams? How do you get things done? And what we have seen in our experience is, our most successful deployments, the technology is only 40% of the problem. When we work with customers that have the right mindset, it was a much more successful installation and a lot more ROI created for the operators. So it's technology 40%, processes 60%, and that's what you as executives should think about. And what is the role of IT? Are you going to be a co-creator to drive growth? Are you going to spend more time understanding AI and provide some thought leadership in the organization? Or are you going to be somebody who's just going to push back on new initiatives? Because you do have some genuine concerns like cybersecurity and so on and so forth, but there are ways to solve that too. So all of this, if things are able to be done really fast, you can run your organization much more efficiently, then how are you going to manage your teams? So one of the things is, there's something called Halflife Skills. Okay? So half-life is the time it takes for uranium to decay by 50%. It's about 238 years. World Economic Forum has come up with Half-Life Skills. 30 to 40 years ago, the Halflife Skills was 30 years, meaning when you start a job, you probably have to reskill yourself just once and then you can retire. Right? In 2017, it dropped to 5 years, which means you have to refresh your skill every 5 years. In 2021, it's 4 years. Don't know what's going to happen in 2024. But the point being is that things are changing rapidly. Are you going to keep up with the pace of the technological changes? And how are you going to make sure that your teams are actually able to handle this transformation? And for that, I feel like leaders must understand AI and its implications. No matter what your role is in a casino, you can no longer say, I'm not a technical person, I'm not going to understand AI. You should just know enough to ask the right questions. So everybody has to be an AI person at some level. And by the way, there is no excuse to learn anymore. Learning is cheap, right? All the things that we talk about AI, the secrets, there are no secrets anymore. You could simply Google. You could go to Coursera and get that information. Right? So there's no excuse. So with that in mind, I also want to give you a little bit of homework for you guys. Okay? So one of the things that works pretty good for us as a company, and I'm sure as executives it will work for you, is ask the question, how do I create more time for myself, my team, my department, and my casino? Forget about AI, forget about technology. How do I create more time? Because once you have time, new ideas will come up. Right? And once you ask that question, it will give you an answer where you will find all the bottlenecks in your organization and then figure out a way to digitize them and implement AI where it makes sense. And then focus on reskilling employees in the age of AI. And attend a true technology conference. Like I'm in the gaming industry, right? G2E is great. But go attend conferences from Amazon's, Google's, Facebook's, National Retail Conference, where you can actually learn a lot more about this tech and how it can impact businesses. Right? Don't just rely on G2E, IGA. Just go attend a true technology conference. And that should give you an answer on how you should make your casino AI ready and become an AI-centric organization. Okay? So with that, if you have any questions, I know I went a few minutes over, take some questions.